Dr. Vaughn, you are really specializing in the blood clots. I've seen video after video, picture after picture of these long white blood clots in autopsy. We've also, throughout COVID, autopsies were really discouraged. We weren't seeking the scientific truth. I see Dr. McCullough, I'll have you kind of answer that, but Dr. Vaughn, first talk about the clotting we saw and what you know in terms of what was discovered under autopsy.
Well, first of all, early in COVID, the spring of 2020, my collaborator, Jacques Lobscher in South Africa, was the first one to kind of alert people to say that this was primarily a vascular disease, not a pulmonary disease. And that's one of the reasons that ventilators are probably one of the most ineffective things you could have done to people, because if you have a vascular disease of the lungs, increasing the intrathoracic pressure just closes down more vessels and ultimately kills them. And what we also saw was if you went into the hospital in the spring or summer of 2020, you were twice as likely to leave alive if you were already on a blood thinner. Now, I will tell you, most of your friends that are on blood thinners probably aren't healthier than you. So it's kind of interesting to find out that the people that were on blood thinners had a protection. So again, those were signals that were really downplayed. Unfortunately, after a lot of the treatment was codified by the CARES Act, it resulted in basically a protocol-based treatment for in-hospital care. But what we uniquely found, and my collaborators in South Africa, Risha Pretorius and Doug Kell at University of Liverpool, was that the spike protein was able to induce fibrin from fibrinogen, which is a fancy word for saying, hey, forming the backbone of clotting. But it did it in a way that was different, that we had not seen. And it was what we would similarly think of fibrin as kind of like spaghetti coming out of the colander that you could pull apart when you didn't need it. It was easy to break down. But the actual clot that was formed in COVID or from the spike protein from the vaccine was like burnt spaghetti casserole that you have to get a Brillo pad to get off the dish. And a lot of people, their issue is their inability to break down that clotting mechanism. We all need to clot, but we all need to actually get rid of the clot. And that is the problem.
Okay, mRNA does not make me happy, guys. We are being overloaded. Do you not realize that we are being attacked? We are being attacked on every side. I am talking about the United States of America. They have been hacking us, but the public doesn't know who's been doing the hacking. We don't know if it's our own intelligence agency or if it's an Iranian intelligence agency or a Russian intelligence agency, a Chinese intelligence agency, or a combination of them all. We don't know. And this is very disturbing because if it's our own intelligence agency that is allowing false information, such as the killing of Charlie Kirk, the unaliving of Charlie Kirk, I should say the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and so many psyops, so many false flags, so many true things. We cannot discern with our own eyes and ears the difference between when something is an actual happening that took place and something that is AI or some false flag gaslighting that's being done to us. We cannot tell. People are being paid to go protest? Really? And then what you're seeing Is it a compilation of edited videos put together in order to make something appear true and viable that's not actually true and viable at all? I think this is why President Trump puts a lot of different memes and stuff on Truth Social, because I think that they're showing us, like, it's not as if we don't already know, but maybe some young people don't know, or some people don't know that we're being manipulated, we're being lied to, we're being gaslit, we're being psyoped, we're being all these at the same time. We don't know in the public what to believe. Okay, Monsanto, I'm not going to say it correctly. That is poisoning the food, the chemtrails that are poisoning the air. It's possibility. Not too long ago, there was a video that went all over YouTube and different social media sites that said that our water, um, a certain water, not container, what is it? A certain water place. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's a certain water refinery place was attacked. You know, we got Chinese students coming across with some sort of amoeba. It's not an amoeba. What is it? Chinese students bringing some sort of bacteria that, if this was put into the water, could kill us. Or if this was put into the food, could kill us. And they supposedly caught them. Then you have a big room where all these cell phones, and all this different kind of equipment was in the room, and where they could confiscate our signals. And so the FBI or whoever does that, whatever agency it is, um, Homeland Security, or I don't know, but they found it. You know what I'm talking about. They found it and took it down. So it makes you wonder how many more of those are up. And it's to the point that if you take all this in, all this different information coming out to us at one time, and you start trying to solve all the problems that are coming at us at one time, you realize that it's being deliberately done in order to cause chaos, in order to drag you down, and, and it's absolutely a computer virus. They started out with a computer virus with COVID-19. And most people could tell that things became very abnormal. But a lot of people, they couldn't tell because they believed everything that was said to them, and they went out and they complied with what they were told. I'm here to say, just because you see something on the newscast, I think many people have woken up now, but just because we see something on a newscast or a video online does not make it true. Let me show you.
And suggesting to them go to vaccine only admission. go to vaccine-only admission.
How
We
dare
did
he?
this. Radio City Music Hall.
How
Months ago.
dare he?
Reopened, vaccine only. Sold out all the shows. Sports arenas, they went up to about 90% vaccine only. Private businesses, bars, restaurants, go to a vaccine only admission. I believe it's in your best business interest. You know, if I go to a bar and I want to have a drink and I want to talk to the person next to me, I want to know that that person is vaccinated. Well, we've taken the first step. Federal government's done it, state government has done it, some local governments have done it, which is you either have to get a vaccine or a weekly test.
You have to do what?
That's the first step, but it's only the first step. That, I believe, we need to expand. Today, the MTA, Port Authority, thank you very much, are adopting that policy starting Labor Day in New York. Port Authority is New York and New Jersey. If the numbers don't come down, I think you have to consider mandatory vaccines for nursing home workers. You know the nursing homes
Consider
have
mandatory
highest poverty.
what?
We learned that in a painful lesson. How did it get into the nursing homes? It came in with an aid.
Okay, folks. This guy is not someone that tells the American people what they can and cannot do. He is an employee of the American people. He does not get to come on any broadcast and tell us that anything whatsoever is mandatory for all to do. It doesn't work like that, fellers. And we should never allow that to last 5 seconds ever again. Listen to this joker.
Mandatory vaccination for nursing home workers.
Mandatory.
Mandatory
Anything.
vaccination for teachers.
He has lost his mind.
If the numbers go up. Why? Teacher is in front of a classroom. How many kids does a teacher interact with during the class? Fine, but then don't be in front of a classroom. I don't believe asking people to take a vaccination is a bad thing. I believe it's a good thing. And 75%
He's not asking.
of New Yorkers have done
He's
it.
mandating.
So it has been accepted.
No, it's not
as a
been
social
accepted.
policy. And if you want to teach my kids, I think you should be vaccinated. And if you want to take care of my mother in a nursing home, I think you should be vaccinated.
I don't care. Okay, I want to tell you, I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. They do not tell the people of the United States that anything is mandated to them. We have laws. Those laws are set up for our authorities to follow. There is no doctor who has authority over us. There is no president who has that type of authority over us. Excuse me. Not for any reason. No. Excuse me. If you want to be dumb enough to allow your government that you pay taxes to tell you, the ones that built America, the ones that run America, what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. Now, you think, well, we were in a situation where we were scared of a virus. What this is a computer virus because we're being innovatively attacked, and the government did not understand right there at that time what was happening. But they should have known better than to think that they have the authority to shut us down. They do not have that authority. Now, they brought the president into the picture, but Fauci was doing all the talking. Okay, if the president decides to go to martial law, well, then unfortunately, that is a law of our land, that he has the authority to do that. But other than that, they cannot mandate a cotton picking thing to all us slaves and servants out here. They have lost their ever-loving mind if they think they're going to be allowed to ever put us through this shit again. No way, Jose. And that's what it was. It was shit. It was absolute shit. And people died all over the world. In India, they were cremating people. And in China, they were cremating people. From what I can understand, if that's not a lie too, and I don't think it was, the shot was killing people, y'all. They were using it for population control, and they were taking their people to the crematorium left and right. Millions, if not a billion people all over the world. You know, there were 8 billion people, right? So there's probably about 7 billion now. You guys better wake up to their schemes. These people that allow these things are devils. They do not have your best interest at heart. They are insane in their policies.
Thank you. So I'm glad to see that you're practicing social distancing. That looks very nice. That's very good. I want to thank everybody for being here today. This morning I spoke with the leaders of the G7 nations, and they really had a good meeting. I think it was a very, very productive meeting.
We
I
don't
also
want to
spoke
hear
with
nothing about
the
no
nation's
G7
governors.
nations.
And this afternoon, we're announcing new guidelines for every American to follow over the next 15 days as we combat the virus. Each and every one of us has.
This is our nation.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this. What more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient.
The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce. And tonight, I'm removing one of the
Let me hear
last
that
remaining
again.
obstacles
Did he
to
say
make it difficult for you to
mandated?
get vaccinated. The Department of Labor I'm removing one of the last remaining obstacles that make it difficult. If you want to do business with the federal, require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government, I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require
He can't
federal
require no
contractors
such a thing.
to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce. And tonight, I'm removing one of the last remaining obstacles that make it difficult for you to get vaccinated. The Department of Labor will require employers with 100 or more workers to give those workers paid time off to get vaccinated.
What?
We remain at a critical moment, a critical time.
Huh?
We have the tools. Now we just have to finish the job.
The job?
With truth, with science, with confidence.
That's a lie.
As one
There's
nation.
no science. There's no confidence.
Look, we're the United States of America.
I know we
There's
are.
nothing, not a single thing we're unable to do if we do it together.
We're not going to do it with you, bro. Not with
bless
you.
All, and all those who continue to serve on the front lines of this pandemic. And may God protect our troops. Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
The way in the gut, I ain't a killer, but don't test me. Cause if any nigga try to come and be on my family, then the cops is gonna have to arrest me. Catch me, fetch me, niggas is
I want you to see how many white people are out there standing up for the black people. Do you know how many white people and black people love each other in the United States? You can't count them all. What a freaking joke. We're in the military together. We're in everything together. What the hell is this? They gotta get out and prove, though, that they standing with the black people. You know what? They more white people out there than there is blacks. And blacks know they got it, okay? In America too, right? Right. But here goes the Psyop. Psyop, Psyop. How much did they get paid to go out there that day with their little mask on? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just hanging out because they having fun. I don't know. Look at old mighty whitey fat butt sitting down there.
Yet we still
Oh,
fund
she,
the
I don't
very
know if she's
institution
white or not.
that is the
She might not be
epitome
white.
of manhunting people
She
of
might not
color.
consider herself to be white. You know, she might not
Are doing this out of pure
identify
ignorance.
as white.
We are blind to our actions. And we will not stop our revolution until the walls that build these racial microcosms are torn down and we stop oppressing people due to their ethnicity.
Ain't
We are
nobody
humans.
oppressing you,
We are
bro.
humans.
What you talking about? Oh my.
And especially now. We are at home all the time. We are cooped up. We're fed up.
He's right about that.
Black history has been removed from America's archives. Our
That's right.
ignorance is cancerous.
It's
and
insane.
poisons the soul of America. Why don't we educate our sons and daughters about the valiant African American heroes that helped establish this country?
That's right.
Harriet Tubman,
You
Booker T.
did.
Washington, Sojourner Truth, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali.
Hey!
Malcolm X,
How about our
Martin Luther
military
King,
bros?
Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, Barack
What you
Obama.
mean?
It goes on and on.
What you talking about? We know this. Okay, don't listen to them. Don't believe these infiltrators.
I went to Lincoln as well. I did not
But-
experience much oppression, even though it was a predominantly white school. But I understand that this is
The bro's telling the
based
truth. He didn't
on
experience
my
much oppression. Cause
uh,
we don't oppress
my
people.
life
We don't.
to be born
Not based on their
to
skin
a
color
loving and
or their
supporting family.
orientation
But there are
or
people
whatever.
and children in the ghetto that don't get the support that they need.
Well, they need to get
a
out
proper
the
education,
the
to
ghetto.
food,
They got the
to
opportunity to
support
get
a
out the
healthy
ghetto.
lifestyle. They don't have
But they don't have the opportunity to get out of the ghetto in China.
Wrongfully.
No, they don't.
Millions of black people in prisons.
They can't get out of
We
the
need
ghetto
to-
in Iran and all these Islamic countries.
August 4th,
No, they don't.
primaries. Get out there and vote. We need to put righteous leaders in front of us. 10 times the backlash. I'm here today to tell you that what we are fighting for is the truth. It starts with us. So I'm standing in front of 800 beautiful, not people of different races, but people of different colors, and it's fucking amazing. Thank you guys.
There
for
you
being
go.
here today.
That's the truth,
It starts
China.
with us
That's
in
the
the
truth,
community.
Iran.
I'm very active
Take
in
what
the
that man
community. I'm a
said.
local musician. I
And
work with
you know
people
what I'm
of every
saying?
shape, size, and color.
You're gonna figure it
Peace
out.
and love. It starts with us. If you want to build, we need to build here. Start with our city. This is Ipsy. We're fighting for Ipsy right now. It starts here. We need to work together, bring this community together to start with the adolescents first.
We already
It's time
together.
To change the conditioning of
We're
us as a
already
people
together.
to stand together because the way.
And then all of a sudden, I thought it sounded kind of loud, and then I looked up, and all of a sudden it smashed right dead into the center of the World Trade Center. Big flash of flame, fire coming out from all over.
Hey, y'all, that wasn't no psyop right there. That actually happened. But it did not happen the way they tell us it.
In less than 2 hours from the first attack, both towers would collapse. First, the South Tower, the building next door to Chief Fife.
Okay, everyone, this is not a psyop. This actually took place. But everything they told us after this happened was a complete lie. Supposedly, the guys were from Saudi Arabia that were on the planes that hit the towers. If they were from Saudi Arabia, my question is, why did we go to Iraq? And when we got to Iraq, we found out that there were no weapons of mass destruction there that Bush told us was there until after we went there and bombed it. We cannot trust these people. We cannot trust this government. Now, I don't know if we can trust it since Trump is in there. I don't think so. Because we're still being lied to. We're being lied to about Charlie Kirk. We're being lied to about so many things that it's pathetic. So, I don't know.
We thought maybe part of the plane fell from the roof and was crashing through the windows. We had no idea that
That's
the
a
entire high-rise
demolition,
building
guys.
just fell to the ground. It sounded exactly like a train coming up. high speed towards you. And then everyone starts running. So I just, follow the crowd, start running, turn the corner, start going up an escalator, and stopped and said, "What am I doing? Why am I running? Clearly, this is death coming from you." And I remember squatting down and made myself ready in a way. I said, "This is it."
New York City, 2001. No tall building had ever collapsed primarily due to fire. But that's exactly what investigators believe happened to the 47-story World Trade Center Building 7 on September 11th. According to a 3-year comprehensive building and fire safety investigation just completed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST.
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires. We really have a new kind of progressive collapse that we have discovered here, which is a fire-induced progressive collapse. And in fact, we've shown for the first time that fire can induce a progressive collapse.
NIST used detailed data describing the building and its contents to create the most complex computer simulation of a structure collapse ever made. Falling debris from Tower 1 started fires on 10 floors in Building 7. A break in the city water main from the collapse of the towers disabled sprinklers in the lower half of WTC 7, allowing fires on those floors to burn for 7 hours. The NIST computer model was validated with evidence from videos, photos, witness accounts, and other data. It shows that heat from fires expanded long support beams, causing connections and floors to fail.
So you look at the floors failing here, and eventually this column 79 is going to buckle, it fails, and then the entire vertical progression takes place.
The buckled column
everybody that
caused
believes
additional
that,
collapsed
stand on your
floors
head
and
and
falling
whistle,
debris
Dixie.
that removed support from adjacent interior columns. A chain reaction then caused other interior columns to fail in quick succession. The outside shell of the building fell.
That's a
The NIST
demolition,
team
you
found no
guys.
evidence that explosives were involved in the collapse.
And our analysis show that even the smallest explosive charge that was capable of bringing down the critical column in the building, had it occurred, we would have seen sound levels of 120 to 130 decibels about half a mile away. That would have been an incredibly loud sound, and that sound was not picked up by any of the videos or witnesses that we have talked to.
The team found that
He
World
doesn't
Trade
know
Center
what he's
7's
talking
design
about.
was generally consistent with the relevant building codes when it was built.
Our high-rise buildings in this country are very, very safe. Having a collapse of this nature is a very rare event.
Nevertheless, to ensure that buildings do not collapse in fires, even when sprinklers fail or are not present, the NIST team urges reevaluation of the fire performance of structures with long-span floors and other design elements similar to WTC 7. The team's report also calls for stronger codes, standards, and practices so that other buildings don't suffer the same fate.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. I really do not know what's wrong. Why they feel like they have to lie. It makes no sense. Why they can't just come out and tell us the truth. But that was a demolition. It is the most devastating.
The images between the sprocket holes could only be seen on slides of the original film. This is the first time that those images can be seen as part of a motion sequence. Zapruder frame numbers are also displayed for research purposes.
Okay, now watch. He takes it to the throat, grabs his throat. She looks at him and they shoot him in the head. She jumps. So when he went behind...
This is a replay with the images between the sprocket holes, this time in slow motion.
So look, they will first shoot him in the throat. Which is something that Freemasons do when they take an oath. Then he's shot in the head, and she jumps to the back. They haven't shown us the complete truth about it, and to this day, it's just disgusting.
This version tracks the limousine and maintains President Kennedy and Governor Connally at center frame. This version is only in slow motion.
I think basically this is where it all started. He's shot. And then he's shot in the head. His brains fall out and she jumps.
This version zooms in on the image as much as possible without causing deterioration. President Kennedy is kept at center frame. This is only in slow motion.
He goes behind that sign. He's shot as soon as he goes behind the sign.
These images, decades later, are still disturbing. From one view, they show a young man cut down in his prime. From another, this is a president who gave so much to so many, assassinated before those hopes could be fulfilled. These images are the legacy of one man, a man who never met John Kennedy, but whose name, Zapruder, is inextricably linked to Kennedy's and to Kennedy's death. Abraham Zapruder, an unassuming man with an ordinary camera,
The
who
audacity.
unwittingly captured a seminal moment
The
in American history.
audacity of whoever did this. And then the audacity of them keeping it from us. Not telling the public the truth. Not telling them. They know. They knew. They know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened. But to not tell us the truth. Don't tell us the truth about 9/11 being demolished. Both trade towers, both tall trade towers, and Tower 7. It's plain. It's clear as day. We can see it. It's demolished. Or Palestine, Ohio. East Palestine, Ohio. Remember this?
The controlled release created a towering plume of toxic black smoke and introduced dangerous chemicals into the air, water, and soil. The environmental impact was devastating. Over 43,000 fish and amphibians died in nearby creeks and waterways within days. Residents reported headaches, dizziness, breathing problems, and strange chemical odours. Even CDC investigators became ill during early site assessments. Independent studies later confirmed elevated levels of dangerous pollutants such as benzene, acrolein, and vinyl chloride in the surrounding area, raising serious concerns about long-term health effects. The community's response has been one of anger, frustration, and resilience.
You remember, guys, that there was video when this went down where you could see that the train had caught on fire before it was brought to a halt, right? But they decided that it was better to go ahead and set the certain cars on the train, to go ahead and set them on fire, because it was better to do that because it might explode. So in order to stop it from exploding, we'll just set it on fire. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? To be worried or concerned about it exploding or about the chemicals penetrating into the earth. But we need to go ahead and set it on fire so that all these chemicals will burn off and go into the atmosphere, which will come down into the water, which will come down into the crops. Oh, but it'll burn up. And so it won't come back down or something, right? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Somebody is attacking us. I don't know who it is. I don't know why it is. But we are taking so many attacks from so many different directions. I don't know if they're friendly. I don't know if they're foreign. I don't know if they're a combination of both. But I'm telling you,